All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike. And today we're going to be breaking down Invicta FC 51. So it's not that big of a card. I believe it's coming up next week on, I think it's Tuesday. Let me double check real quick. Yes, no, Wednesday. So it's next week, Wednesday on the 18th. Should be dope. Always nice to have a midweek card. Invicta's been pretty cool to watch recently. They've had some great fights, some mad judging, but that's been going around in the whole MMA sphere. So what can you do? We'll run through these real quick. I think that there's some spots that there's a decent few things to talk about, and then depending how the odds are going to come out, maybe there's a few plays we can make. For the most part, I don't love this card from a potential gambling standpoint, but we're going to have to see. So starting off with this first fight here, we've got Tanya Nijjar versus Sayury Canon. Now, I'll start off real quick. There's no tape on Tanya, so I really have nothing to work with. And there's like minimal tape on Canon. Now, Tanya's 1-0, 28 years old, 5'2", and in terms of her camp, I have her at Roca MMA. And then Sayury Canon, 2-0, undefeated as a pro. Don't have her anything about her size, her age, nothing like that. And then in terms of her camp, I have to go with what's here. I couldn't find her Instagram. It's Club Equipo Serrano. So, look, this is just a skip. There's nothing to do here. The assumption is they're setting up Tanya Nijjar, but I can't tell you anything else with nothing to work with. Like it would just be it would be a blind guess. So not going to bet that no matter what happens, and we'll move right along to something that we can talk about. Here we've got Fatima Kline versus Laura Gallardo. Okay. Kline, she's 2-0 undefeated as a pro, 22 years old, 5'6" with the 68-inch reach, and I do have her training out of Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu. I did see somewhere that she's training with Aaron Blanchfield. Couldn't confirm that on Instagram, but so I'm not gonna really factor that into my analysis, but something to consider, I guess. Not that she really needs that. And then on the other side, you've got Laura Gallardo, 4-1-0, 5'1". She's given up 5 inches in height, 64-inch reach. She's given up 3 inches in reach, and she's training out of King's MMA. So we know Laura Gallardo. We know her from The Ultimate Fighter. I want to say she was the late replacement one, and then had one fight and lost and was out. I'm gonna pull it up and double check myself. No, so it wasn't her who was a late replacement. It was so she beat Catherine Paprocki, that I remember now, on the Ultimate Fighter, and then lost to Brogan Walker. And that's a big thing I'm going to talk about for this fight, is because we've got two women who are both grapple heavy. Like those are their game plans. Laura Gallardo apparently some form of All-American according to her own Instagram page, but I couldn't really find much on that. Her wrestling is good, but like the second she's fighting bigger opponents, larger women who are clearly stronger than her, like Brogan Walker, she's having a hard time taking them down. On the feet, she like the size difference makes it very hard for her to have a lot of success. She's going to be 5 inches shorter here. She's at a 4-inch reach disadvantage. I don't know. I don't really see how she's going to win. Like her striking is not great. Same thing for Kline. Kline's striking looks very green. It's clear that she's a grapple approach kind of fighter, but she's working on that striking, and it does seem to be improving. And I'd say with her size difference at range, she'll probably outstrike Gallardo. And who's going to have the better wrestling? I think it's going to be Kline as well. We have seen Kline taken down before, but she usually pops right back up. It happened when she fought Trillo in round 3, but I think that was more of like a surprise. She wasn't seeing it coming. So yeah, I like Kline here quite a bit. I think she's going to look very dominant. Unfortunately, I just don't think the odds are going to be playable at all for this fight. So I doubt we're going to be able to do anything with this information, but I do think Fatima Kline wins. I should think it's going to be dominant, and we can move on to the next fight. All right. This is also a very interesting one. We've got Katie Saull versus Rayanne Amanda. Saull is 5'5" she's 35 years old, 5'4" with a 64-inch reach. And in terms of her camp, let me just double check that one. I have her at SBG Ireland right now, so that's dope. And I did want to mention also she was a member of the Canadian national boxing team. Whatever you want to make of that, I don't know. Jasmine DeJesus was a Canadian member of the wrestling team, and it didn't really end up looking all that great in MMA. So her striking, we'll talk about it in a sec. On the other side, Rayanne Amanda, 12-6-0, 27 years old. So she's going to be, 8 years younger. 5'2", she's 2 inches shorter, 62-inch reach, given in 2 inches in reach. And she is training with the Marajo brothers team. So if you remember Amanda, it's because she fought on the Contender Series against Denise Gomez in this past season. She had a very solid start. Like in the beginning, it was a good start. She was throwing combinations. She was landing, winging a bit, which she does pretty often and makes her very hittable. But she was looking good, and the output was there. Looked great. She slowed down very quickly, and then Denise Gomez started to take over. Amanda, she's grappling heavy. That's where she finds most of her success. And she got like one takedown, but very little top control. On the regionals, you do see her getting takedowns as well. But if you go back a few fights in 2020, it was a fight she was winning, and then she got choked out. So while she does have a great ground game, why does this say 0 sub losses on my notes? It should be 1 sub loss. Regardless, she's got 8 sub wins of her own, but most of those are arm bars also. So that normally requires you to either be very high level from on the top or be on the bottom and then pull an arm bar. I don't see Saull really taking her down. I mean, Saull could. She probably could. Her wrestling's decent, but I think Amanda will be better there. I think she'll either scramble and reverse or get her own takedowns first. The takedown defense of Saull is decent, but she's been taken down. Anderson took her down. Elise Anderson took her down with not a great takedown either. So I don't know. This fight for me, I don't really want to bet it. I think that Saul's got a pretty clear striking edge. I think that the grappling clearly goes to Amanda. There's certain parts where we get all right, I think that Amanda is maybe she's the better striker in the pocket. She's better when there's more chaos. But I think Saull is the more technical striker who's better at range. And when she can get her own kind of fight going, that's when she has the most success. But I think it's going to be close. And then the grappling, even though I give it to Amanda, I've seen Saull do some pretty good work on the ground. It's not like she's taking girls down and submitting them or completely destroying them, but it's decent. Do I think she can get Amanda down? Yeah. Do I think she can hold her? Probably not. Could that end up with her getting armbarred? Possibly. So I like Amanda here. That's my lean. Not calling it a pick because A, the odds aren't out yet, and B, even once they come out, I don't think I'll be on this. I can't even tell you what odds would make it enticing for me. I guess maybe if Amanda's a dog for some reason, I would play that. But other than that, I'm not really tempted on this fight. The pick is going to be Amanda because I think her wrestling will be the difference maker, but we can move right along. So this is one that is funky. We've got Maria Messer-Belenchia versus Elisandra Ferreira. Now, this fight is at atomweight. Not used to breaking these kinds of fights down. There's no atomweight division in the UFC. So that's 105 pounds we're talking about. We've got Marissa Messer-Belenchia, 5'1-0, 31 years old. She's 5 feet tall with a 63-inch reach. And I've got her training out of Ultimate MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. Now, Elisandra Ferreira, 4'2-0, 24 years old, so she's going to be 7 years younger here. 5'1", she's 1 inch taller, and seems like she's given up 3 inches in reach with a very short 60-inch reach, or even 59. And she is training with the Mesquita brothers, as far as I could tell. So I kind of did this weird, like I did my notes the first time, and then I came back to it, and I kind of re-looked at the fights today and added to it. And I originally felt like I was probably going to take a dog shot on Ferreira if that was available. Now I think I'm going to play Ferreira regardless, as long as it's not like over minus one, I don't know, minus 140, something like that. I do think she'll end up being the dog too, but so this is what I'm thinking. You look at Belenchia, what's her game? It's definitely not the grappling. She's got a BJJ black belt, but it's one of those black belts that you only hear about and you never see it used. Like, she does have 2 submission wins. The back take is pretty nice, but her wrestling isn't really all that good. So how is she going to get it into the positions she needs to get submissions? In terms of her striking, she's very, very hittable. She really struggles at range because she's normally the smaller woman. And while she will be shorter here, she should have the reach edge. So maybe it'll be a bit different for her here. But she always has to wing her strikes because of that, which I don't love. Good jab, though. Combinations are decent. Output is pretty good. She's good in the clinch. And I do like that she's got this good forward pressure. But across from her is a woman who's got pretty much all those weapons plus a little bit more. I think that Ferreira de Oliveira, she's got very good combos, good jab. Output is a bit low, which I don't love. She does wing her strikes a bit too, but I'd say it's like not much different from what we're seeing from Belenchia. I'd say her clinch striking is better than Balencia's. I think she's dirtier in the clinch, and I think she seems like she's a little bit stronger against the fence. And the big thing for me here of why I like Ferreira is I think she can wrestle here. Her wrestling's pretty good. She's got good throws as well. And I do think it'll be enough to get Belenchia down. Like, Balencia's been taken down by Katie Saull. We've already spoken about her. Canadian boxing scene fighter. Getting taken down by her isn't the best look. She got taken down in her Granados fight, but she was able to sweep. So I don't know. For the most part, when you look at Balencia's fights, if she gets taken down, she does get back up. She's good at getting back up. So will Ferreira be able to really control her for long? It's a question mark, but I'm pretty confident that she can do it. And I think that the striking, even though I might slightly edge it to Balencia, I think that's very close as well. So I'm leaning Ferreira. Will that be a play? It's going to depend on what the odds they give me. The Tapology suggestions or the predictions, I'm sorry, they really like Belenchia. So hopefully the odds will reflect that and we can hop on, but we'll have to see. But the pick is going to be Ferreira just because I think she's got more ways to win this. I think both women are very similar fighters, but I like Ferreira just a bit more. And we're going to move right along. All right. Next up, we've got Claire Guthrie versus Auttumn Norton. Now, Claire is 4-1-0, 27 years old. She's 5'6" with a 70-inch reach, and believe she is at elevation. She's also at high altitude MMA. I know a lot of fighters have been switching between the two camps. I don't know the full story there, but good places to train. Her opponent, Auttumn Norton, 2-1-0. She's 28 years old, so she's 1 year older. 5'5", she's 1 inch shorter, and she's got a 68-inch reach. She's got a 2-inch reach disadvantage, training out of MMA Gold Fight Team. So we know Guthrie. We know her from not the Contender Series, from the Ultimate Fighter. She fought Juliana Miller. She lost to her. She actually fought Juliana Miller before the Ultimate Fighter and beat her. I believe that was a split decision. She's good. She's a good fighter. I really like her wrestling. I really like the transitions on the ground. I do have a downside with her. She does get reversed. She got reversed a bunch in her last fight against Bridget Chase. Not a good look, really. But overall, her grappling's very good. And then her striking, I kind of remembered it being worse. And you really don't see much of it because she's going right for the takedowns. But I'd say the output is pretty good. She's pretty good in the pocket. I like the body shots, which you don't always see in these weight classes. And just the combinations in general are looking pretty good from her side. Excuse me. On the other side, for Norton, her striking is also pretty solid. She's normally looking to counter. She's not really leading enough, which I don't love, but the counters are good. I'd say her power is pretty solid. Low output as well, but also good in the clinch. She's got a decent head movement, but she's still getting hit a lot, so I'm not sure what it's really accomplishing. I haven't seen her own wrestling much, She did get top control in the Rincon fight, but it was mostly her just sprawling, reversing position, and then getting on top. So I don't know how much that will mean here. Her own takedown defense, haven't seen it really tested. So my big thing in my notes was like, what's Norton really good at? And I can't really tell you. Like, experience goes to Guthrie, competition Guthrie, wrestling Guthrie, striking, like, I guess Norton, but I also think Guthrie. I like Guthrie. I don't know if I want to bet it without knowing how the takedown defense is of Norton, but I also don't think it's going to be playable. So the pick is Guthrie. Will I get to a bet? More than likely not. Real quick, catching up with the chat. Moyes pulling up. Thank you, brother, for tuning in. Fantastic Invicta card. It is a very good card for them, for sure. And then Team Alpha Male grappling for Norton. That is good to know. I didn't know that and could not find that anywhere. So if she's grappling with Team Alpha Male, that's a great look, especially for this fight against Guthrie. Let's see what these odds open up at. I personally am not that interested in playing anything here, but I do feel fairly confident in Guthrie. But we're going to move along. All right. So this one was pretty hard for me to break down and very hard for me to get a read on, honestly. We've got Serena DeJesus versus Olga Rubin. Serena is 5'2" and 0, 31 years old. She's 5'8", 70-inch reach, training out of Extreme Couture. I do believe that's correct. On the other side, you've got Olga Rubin. She's 7'3" and 0, 33 years old. She's 2 years older, 5'9". She's 1 inch taller, 69-inch reach, giving up, what is that? We'll call it a 1 inch reach disadvantage. And she's training out of Great Britain top team. I was able to confirm that on her Twitter as well. So we last saw Olga Rubin when she fought against Taneisha Tennant. I believe that was a title fight. And, we'll talk about Tennant later, but I don't think Rubin is amazing necessarily at anything, but she's pretty good. Like, her striking's pretty solid. I like her clinch work. She's got 3 knockout wins. She's been knocked out twice, right? But Kavanaugh, not a terrible look in Bellator. The woman's not the most technical, but she's got big power. And then Bud knocked her out in Bellator as well. That's not the best look. Julia Budd is not known for her power, but what can you do? I don't necessarily think she's going to get knocked out here. I guess it's a possibility. Like, you look at DeJesus, right? You look at her, and it's like she's like this little Jessica Andrade-like character. Like, she's got this forward pressure, this toughness to her, Muay Thai background, solid in the clinch, and just pushing forward. I feel like in my brain is saying Rubin seems to be the better fighter overall, more technical, more ways to win. I think she's got pretty good wrestling, whereas DeJesus is not shooting. She's got takedown defense that's good, but she's not like shooting for her own. Rubin also good takedown defense. I don't know. This one's tough for me. I know a lot of people are probably going to like DeJesus because she has this win over Cloudy. She has that win over Lauren Muller, but I just don't know really what to take from those. Also, all 7 of her fights have gone to decision. So even though I mentioned maybe she can get a KO with that pressure, she hasn't done it yet. So my lean is Rubin. I'm going to have to watch this a few more times, I think, before I'm comfortable making a play either way. I have a feeling that Rubin will open a dog. And if that's the case, I think I'm probably going to play her. I just need to watch and figure out whether she's going to be able to handle the pressure. Because at range, I think she's the better technical striker. It's the pressure and the output of DeJesus that I'm concerned about. And that's what I have to look into a little bit more. Make sure you're following me at Couch Warrior Pod on Twitter. It's where I post all my picks when I make them. My lean right now is going to be Rubin, but this is probably one of the fights I'm least confident in. And obviously, there's no odds, but I doubt I'm going to get to a play here. But we're going to have to see. Catching up real quick. DeJesus a walking punching bag. Olga will take her down. Yeah, I'm thinking pretty similar with that. That's kind of why I do kind of want to take Olga. And then Moy's saying Bud was a TKO via body shot. Yeah, it was a body kick, right? I'm pretty sure. I'd be shocked if Bud got like a body uppercut finish. I don't remember exactly how it went, but we can move on. The pick is going to be Olga Rubin. We'll have to see in terms of how the odds are, what I'm going to do with it, but that's the pick. And we're going to move on. We're up to our co-main event. This is for the Invicta Vacant Flyweight Championship title. We've got Kristina Williams versus Ketlen Souza. Williams is 6'3" She's 33 years old, 5'8", with the 67.5-inch reach. And I've got her training at Killer Bees. Ketlen Souza on the other side, she's 12'3" 27 years old. So she's going to be 6 years younger here. Is that correct? Yes, I believe that's correct. 6 years younger, 5'3". She's 5 inches shorter. That's a pretty big deal. And I don't have her reach, and I have her training out of Krakow Academy. So I think this is really interesting. But there's a few things to highlight. First of all, Souza, right? Her striking, good striking, nice combos, mixes it up well. She has very heavy shots, but she's one of these Brazilian fighters who are very cocky, hands down, kind of just like, yeah, hit me, and then tries to hit you harder. Her offensive grappling, I have not seen her shoot. And in terms of her defensive grappling, it looks pretty good. But I've seen her get reversed against a 41-year-old regional lady and then get stuck. She got stuck again in round number 2, getting taken down off a trash attempt. So that's going to be a problem with Souza. Now, Williams doesn't really wrestle, so probably won't matter here. And in terms of Williams' own defensive grappling, it's also decent. She's been taken down. Hani took her down in the second round, but she did get up after a little bit. I think that the grappling won't get too involved here. I think we're probably going to be striking, right? So then you look at the striking of Williams. Combos are good. I like it a bit. Nice 1-2s down the pipe. Everything's straight. Good leg kicks. Good output. I was watching her Velasquez fight in Bellator. She was actually having some decent striking exchanges with the champion, the former champion. I don't love that her chin's a little high. I think that might be a concern here because Souza does hit like a train, and she is going to wing for that chin. I just think in general, Williams, she's got enough lateral movement where she should be able to avoid the forward pressure of Souza. And I think she can just pick her apart at range. I think this can get very, very, very like sloppy and grimy and maybe close. And Souza can get the dub, squeeze it out. I just personally lean Williams. I don't think I'll be betting it, but the pick is Williams. I just think overall she'll be the more technical striker, have more output, and be able to win the minutes better. So we're going to move along to our main event of the evening. Here we've got, Moy's kind of echoing what I'm saying too. We're on the same wavelength today, you and me, Moy's. Williams has looked improved. And I watched her older fights first, and then I had to pretty much redo my notes because she looked very different later on, which is a good thing. But we'll move on to our main event of the evening. We've got Taneisha Tennant versus Talita Bernardo. Tennant is 5'1". She's 33 years old, 5'7" with a 72-inch reach. And I've got her training out of Canon MMA. Talita Bernardo, she's 9'4". 35 years old, so she's 2 years older. 5'4", she's 3 inches shorter, and she's got a 68-inch reach, so it's a 4-inch reach disadvantage. I don't have a gym for her. I believe it's IF Team, and this one's interesting. I honestly thought that more people would be on the side that I'm on, but it looks like a lot of people are really liking Bernardo, and I guess I get it. She's a UFC veteran, sure. BJJ black belt, yeah. But you look at her UFC fights, right? She went 1-3. Viviane Araujo lost. She beat Sarah Moras, I believe is the first name. Beat her. It doesn't matter at all. Aldana lost, and Marianne Renault lost. So decent competition-ish in there for some of it. being a UFC vet, though, going 1-3 and getting cut, I don't know how much stock I'm going to put into that. I feel like in terms of her fights, like if she can't get her grappling going, she's losing them for the most part. Like she's not really winning striking exchanges. When she's striking, it looks like she's striking in slow motion. Never knocked anyone out, been knocked out twice herself. I mean, her striking defense to me looks pretty much unexistent. Meanwhile, you look at Tennant, like, say what you want. Yeah, she lost to Danielle Wolf on the Contender Series, but she outstruck Danielle Wolf. She hurt her. I'm pretty sure it was like twice, and didn't look terrible. And I'm pretty sure that was her MMA debut too, or like her second fight. So I thought that was pretty good. She's 2 years younger, 3 inches taller, 4-inch reach advantage. She's going to have a good size edge here. I think Tennant has the striking striking technique advantages for sure. I think that she throws down the pipe better. She uses her length very well. I think she's a bit more technical, and I like her output a lot more. Not like she's got huge power. She's only got one knockout win, but I think she's a pretty good striker. In terms of her striking defense, I don't love that she's leaning back kind of like this a lot, but I don't think it's going to really matter here too much. So I think she should be fine in that regard. It's going to come down to whether she can keep it on the feet. We've seen her get stuck along the fence, but other than that, her takedown defense has held up. Has she really fought a grappler like Bernardo? Probably not. So maybe she will get tested. Maybe she'll get taken down. Maybe she'll get controlled. But I think I'm going to play Tennant. I don't know what the odds are going to look like. If she's a decent underdog, I think I'm going to be playing her because I think that if Bernardo cannot get this on the ground, I think she's screwed. I don't like her striking. I hate her striking defense. So the pick for me is going to be Taneisha Tennant. Let's see. Moy's saying Tennant, low risk point fighter. Main reason she hasn't got the UFC call. Makes sense to me, honestly. But I do think if she gets a dub here, she probably will. Want Bernardo to win, but over 25 rounds. 25 minutes, I get you. Tennant will rack up the points. Yeah, I agree. I just think the damage is going to build up too. I watch Bernardo, and it's hard to watch her striking defense. She's just getting hit and hit and hit. So, all right, guys, that's a card. No official picks just yet. My leans right now, I have it written down on a post-it that I'm reading off of. Tennant is a lean. Williams is a lean. Guthrie, I'm confident in. Just doubt we can play it. Ferreira is a play I want to make. Amanda's a lean. And Kline, I want to play. I doubt I'll be able to. So thank you guys for tuning in. Originally, I was going to do the Aries FC card at 3:30. We went over a little bit, and I need a second to regroup. So I'm going to be covering Aries FC 11 at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you guys tune in. That's a dope card, and I'm very hyped to talk about that one. So I'll see you guys soon, and have a good one.